guys, this episode is brought to you by RX Bar. For 25% off your first order, visit rxbar.com/getit and enter promo code GETIT during checkout. Podcast.
Hey guys, it's Ashley.
It's Lauren. I thought we were introducing ourselves.
And it's Naz.
Okay, so we think it's funny that we introduce ourselves every week, and Lauren says it's because she and Naz apparently sound alike.
I think that.
We just got messages and people don't know who it is.
People
Really?
never know if it's me or Lauren. Because we both have monotone voices.
So before we move on to today's topic, we do want to talk about this new, very exciting collaboration that we have with JustFab.com. I'm sure you guys have seen their commercials. They are very like shoe-based, right, Lauren?
Very
I feel like
shoe-based.
you've bought
I've
shoes
had
from them
a
before.
JustFab account for a while now, and we're very excited to be working with them. And I'm sure if you're cool and follow us on Instagram, you saw us doing our photo shoot, and I kind of slayed the photo shoot, honestly.
She did. She's been
did.
watching so much America's Next Top Model that like, not only can she take a really solid picture of me or anybody else these days because like she learned angles and shit, but also she can take a really great picture for herself. She looks freaking bomb.
I know, but she also looked amazing because we got all these clothes from Just Fab, which was amazing for the collab. And what was really cool is that they like came to us like to curate their Galentine's collection, and like how many items? It's like over 30,
It's
right?
over 30 items.
And your first one is $10.
And we want to hook you guys up because Valentine's Day is such a fun holiday to dress up for. And it doesn't matter if you're like going out with your friends or you're having like a Galentine's Day with your friends or you're going on a date. Like literally JustFab.com is the place to go for like any outfit, shoes, accessories.
I love that they came to us for like Galentine's Day because they're like, oh, the I don't get it girls, they are so Galentine's Day. You know what I mean?
I know. And we're doing a Facebook Live with them, which is so exciting. But what's amazing about Just Fab, you guys, is you can literally get your first item for just $10 if you're a VIP, right, Ash? How does it work?
Right.
How do you become a VIP?
So this is how you're going to go shop our collection, which it's all cute. It's all Valentine's Day themed, you know, in colors. You go to www.justfab.com/IDGI, justfab.com/IDGI. First, you're going to take a fun style quiz. Then you're going to get a personalized boutique, and then you're going to shop, and you're going to become a VIP, and you're going to save. It's that simple. VIP members get a new boutique every first of the month and an exclusive member 30% off all pricing all the time. More perks that you're going to get as a VIP in addition to the 30% off retail pricing with your VIP membership. You're also going to get member-only access to VIP-only events and promotions and personal styling services. So basically, all I'm saying is go to, justfab.com/IDGI and then shop our collection. And then when you're about to like check out, do all the things you got to do.
Yeah,
it's
and the
very
quiz
minimal.
is super fun, too.
Yeah.
You find out what Galentine's BFF you are. And we'll talk about which ones we are on the Facebook Live when we do it on February 2nd. But let us know what you guys love about it. JustFab.com/IDGI.
So today's topic is something that I cannot believe after a year we haven't discussed. We did have a urologist on to talk about UTIs and such, but we've never had a gynecologist on like we have today answering all your sex and body questions. So we had you guys send in all of the questions that you feel too awkward or embarrassed to ask your own gyno, and we starred the most interesting ones, and we're going to ask her so you guys never have to
Or not necessarily the
face
most
to the
interesting ones, but probably like a lot of common ones that you guys probably all have the same questions
That's
about.
true.
All the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
All
if
the
like we
questions.
didn't answer your question specifically, it's probably because someone already asked it and we're just,
Right, or we couldn't get to
And
it.
truly, you guys know how we work here. If you guys are fans of it and you want more, we're always willing to do a part 2.
And what's really exciting is now you guys have one place to give us all your feedback and talk to other people that listen to the podcast, because we officially have a Facebook group thanks to actually one of our listeners. Her
So
name is
necessary.
Courtney. How fucking nice is
So
Courtney?
nice.
Slid in the DM and she's like, can I make a Facebook group for you guys? Because obviously, I don't know if you guys listen to Off the Vine, but Caitlin Bristow started one. And it's just such a good idea. So if you guys look up I Don't Get It podcast on Facebook, you can now, all you have to do is answer 3 questions to join the group so you can give us feedback. And then you guys can talk to each other about all the episodes and tell us what you love, what you hate, and just talk shit about us.
Yeah, and we can respond and we can get podcast ideas from it, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
So let's talk about gynos, guys.
Okay, well, Naz has a male gyno.
Yeah, I don't know how she does this.
Yes.
I think we may have brushed over this before, but I literally have no idea how you go to a male gyno.
What's the gyno that we're calling now?
She's a female.
She's a female? Okay.
Yes.
So mine's...
Is she a female? Yes, she is.
Oh, did I say she? No, I said what is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I cannot have a female gyno.
What?
Because I feel way more comfortable with a male gyno because I feel like all the male gynos' bed behaviors are amazing and they don't judge you. Like, I feel like females are very judgy.
I actually understand
and I feel like I've said this before when we had the urologist on maybe, but I don't want to tell a female gynecologist like, oh yeah, so I just had, because they're always like, oh, so who's your partner right now? And I don't want to be like, oh, it was a one-night stand to a female. And the guy never cares. They're very fatherly in a weird way. They're like, it's going to be fine. You're going to be okay. And I like to get close with a gyno that is going to deliver my children. And so Dr. Tahiri and Dr. Harvey Richmond at Cedars-Sinai both are most likely going to deliver my children. And they know what my vagina looks like. They know everything. They know everything about me. They know every guy I've been with. And I never feel judged. And I love that.
Understand being with the same gyno your entire experience, because with ours, I also imagine her being the one that delivers our kids, even though she's in Virginia.
Right.
But I don't want any other person. She's already been looking at it since I was 22. So let's not try to get anybody else down there in a medical sense.
Yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, you guys wouldn't feel comfortable having a guy?
No.
I wouldn't, but I also understand the not judgmental, because they probably think all vaginas are beautiful, but women are like, that one's gross and that one's this and that one's that. It's like,
not Dr. Wolf, Lauren.
Okay, I've never had Dr. Wolf look at my vagina.
Lauren and I go to the same practice, but I, of course, had to, make sure I will never go to any female in the practice, only the one that my mom's gone to for, the past 20 years. Lauren...
I go to her, counterpart, which I just always happen to get. And
so you wanted Dr. Wolf?
I want Dr. Wolf, but I just never get her.
What do you get, a RN or something?
No, she gets the other woman in the practice. It's how sometimes you go to a dental practice, but then any of them can really check on you.
Yeah, it's like Russian roulette.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
That's this case.
And that's probably why I haven't gone in a way too long.
See, so Lauren should get a male one.
No, I don't know.
I love having a male one.
Maybe this one we're talking to will become my gyno.
There you go. She lives in Minneapolis. She was one of the ABC affiliates in Minneapolis, their go-to health expert.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's really great. I thought
she knows how to talk.
Versed in this stuff.
That's amazing. Well, the reason why I like having a male gyno is because I would be too embarrassed sharing this story, which I think I've shared with Ashley, but I haven't shared with Lauren fully, about how I took my first pregnancy test this month. A lot of firsts in 2018.
Why would you be weird telling a female this? I'm so confused.
I remember you told me this story. I know this story.
Did I tell you?
Yes.
Okay.
I know the story.
Well, I first off need a female because they really understand the stuff going on because they experience it and they've had kids.
That is so true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't deny that.
I totally can't deny that.
Yeah, it's I have cramps and they're unbearable. They're going to be well, it's
they don't even know what cramps feel like.
Yeah.
They don't know what a contraction feels like.
That is
very smart, Ashley. But I would like to call her and ask her a couple questions.
Okay, we are. But Naz wants to
I wanted to share the story with you guys. So I totally thought I was pregnant. This is going to lead to one of the questions I asked the gyno, because I had sex with someone but it was in the period of time where I had finished my birth control pack and I hadn't picked up my new one yet. So I know a lot of people listening, it's those weird days where you just haven't picked it up yet. And I oddly feel like that's the time when you're ovulating, but I also have no idea.
It's not when you're ovulating, but it's interesting. It's if I don't have to take that week of sugar pills, right? So...
No, it was after the sugar pill. I finished the entire pack.
You finished the entire pack.
Finished the entire pack, and there was those 3 days in between before I went to CVS to get my new one.
Naz, that's dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's when you're ovulating.
I want to know the sugar pack. The sugar pack or the sugar line kind of alludes to the fact that you are not currently on birth control for that week because that is your period week.
Right.
But you can technically get pregnant on your period. Technically.
I mean, can you? I don't know.
Yes, you can. It's a very low percentage, but it's possible.
So so whatever. So I thought I was pregnant, and I've never taken a pregnancy test, but I also thought I like wasn't. And everyone at work was like, Naz, just take it because until you get your period, you're going to be freaking out every day if you have it. And it's just like a little bit of money to have assurance that like you're not going to have a child. So then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And obviously just said that at work. So like no one would ask me like if I do get it.
Right.
And obviously on the way home, I like go to a Rite Aid and I go to the counter and there are all these different prices for the pregnancy test, which is so fucked because like, why are some $20? Why are some $70? It's like, which one's going to tell the truth, you know? So then
it's
the one
just
that
the clear results. Lauren
the
likes
clear
getting the ones
blue
that's
because
not
you don't
pregnant.
like. I will confuse if 2 lines is good or 2 lines is bad.
Exactly.
And then sometimes motherfuckers have smiley faces or sad faces, and I'm like,
No way.
And a smiley face means you are pregnant, and I'm like, that is very confusing because I don't want a baby.
I know, a baby, like
Right
having
now.
a child.
Yeah.
We're at that age where when someone's like, I have a baby, you're like, is this congrats or is this really bad?
Yeah.
Like I have no fucking clue.
At this
and I
age,
are at
it's
the
more.
congrats. Yeah.
It's more. Actually, we are the
you
same
guys are the
age.
same age.
Yeah.
Wow. What a mind boggle.
Lauren and I are 27. Anyways, no, Ashley, I would be freaking out.
I know that you would be.
Anyway, so guys, I just end up going for the middle. I get like a $20 clear blue one, the line. I didn't know there was a pregnant, not pregnant one. And so I go to the cash register and I buy it, and it's like so fucking embarrassing to buy. I don't know why. And then I like mosey my way over to like the drugstore makeup that like Ashley loves, and I like pretend to look at it. And then I walk over to the bathroom, and because I was like, I'm doing this here, right now. Like I am not staining my home bathroom with like whatever information and emotional trauma that
Very
this is
good.
going to give me.
Very good.
So I go to the Rite Aid bathroom. It's like, obviously you guys know, so gross. It's like literally like, I don't know. It's like a prison bathroom. So then
like a
I'm like
hostel.
sitting on, so I take the thing out of the box and I like pee on it, and I peed so much. And I look down and I realize I didn't take the plastic applicator off, like the blue thing off
You're
to
like-
pee on the stupid.
You were like,
strip.
oh,
Splashing
she's never
the
done
stick.
it before, so she just thought that
I've
was
never
what you
done.
peed
So I go,
on.
oh fuck! So I take the plastic applicator off, and then I start trying to squeeze pee out, but I have no pee left.
You need like a steady flow.
I have no pee
It
left.
says stream on it for like 10 seconds.
And then a little bit of the strip turned pink. So I was like, this is default. Like, I'm not going to use this again. So I leave. I get in line and I buy another clear fucking blue pregnancy
And a
test.
water.
And a water. And I leave. And I'm like, where am I going to take this test? So I saw a McDonald's on east side of LA. I'll never forget this. And I'm like, McDonald's is a very happy place. Like, this is a great place
You would
to take a
associate
pregnancy
McDonald's along with being pregnant the rest of your life.
That'd be good.
McDonald's
That'd be good
will
for her.
never in my life have a bad connotation ever. McDonald's is America to me. The Founder's like one of my favorite movies. Anyway, so I go in and I'm like, this is the happiest place to take a pregnancy test. It's fine. If I'm pregnant, I'll have a McDonald's burger, which I've never had. And if I'm not, I'll get a giant McFlurry and it'll be fine. And so then I go to the bathroom, but it has a stupid keypad on it because it's East LA. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's like one of those McDonald's where you have to buy something. So I get in line and like, yes, there's a line in this McDonald's.
And you have your little bag.
And I
Rite Aid
get to the
bag.
front of the line. I'm like, hi, can I have like a chicken nugget, like kids meal? And they're like, I'm like, by the way, what's the code to the bathroom? And they're like, oh, it's open. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
So the anticipation's building. I go in, I pee on it. I take the applicator off. They say wait 3 minutes. It's the longest 3 minutes of your life. It says not pregnant. And I got a giant McFlurry that day.
There you go.
And I wasn't
Yeah.
pregnant. All right, guys, we have to stop for a moment to tell you guys about our new obsession and our literal new favorite sponsor, because Valentine's Day is coming up, and let's be honest, it is the hardest thing to shop for a guy and to get something that a guy actually loves. So introducing mancrates.com, the only place to find truly awesome gifts that guys love. And I'm being serious, you guys, you won't even believe how cool these crates are until you take a look, and you will never understand how much this helps us women buy gifts for guys, because it's literally the hardest thing ever.
No, we really like Mancrates.
Yeah, Naz, there's no cheesy mugs or cologne samples in these crates. You'll find some really cool gift collections for every type of guy. Sports fanatic, home chef, outdoorsman, or musician. These crates are seriously cool. You can even
Open the
have
crate with a
to-
crowbar.
You hope
That's how manly,
That's how manly they are.
They're really like made for like the men's man. They have a cool NFL barware crate, a whiskey appreciation crate, and really cool Valentine's Day gifts like the jerky heart or the salami bouquet. They have a ton of 5 5-star reviews, and they guarantee that your man will be satisfied. So go to mancrates.com/getit, GETIT, for 5% off. They don't offer a discount code anywhere else, so get your 5% off right now at mancrates.com/getit. That is mancrates.com/getit. And your man is gonna enjoy, promise you. Well, let's get your answer with Dr. Klayman on whether or not you could have, like, how risky that was.
Exactly.
How risky that was.
Exactly.
Hi, this is Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. Should we call you Shannon or Dr. Klingman?
Yeah, Shannon. Well, I suppose Dr. Klingman is fine, but Shannon is what everybody calls me. So either way, yeah.
Hello. Well,
I don't make people call me Dr. Klingman. So
Okay, well, we'll call you Shannon for sake of it just being an easier name to say. This is Ashley.
Hi, this is Lauren.
Hi, Ashley.
And hi,
Lauren.
I'm Naz.
So do you want to give our listeners a little just background of you, how long you've been in practice for, your media experience and all that?
Sure, yeah. Let's see. My name is Dr. Shannon Klingman, and I graduated from medical school in 1997 and did a residency in OBGYN. Finished that in 2003 and then practiced for 10 years in Detroit and in Minneapolis. And then when my youngest son, who is, when he was 1 and he's now 9, so for 8 years, I have been home and running a business, which I started off developing Lumi deodorant and has now finally launched. We got through the whole product development and patent process, and now we launched this product in October, and I'm all in, full run CEO of that company. So that's how I'm using my medical degree now, making women's lives better through odor control.
Okay.
Well, we do want to get back to your product in a bit. I know that Lauren has a very specific question regarding your product and how it could help her in certain circumstances. But before we got you on the line, Naz was telling a story about how she recently took a pregnancy test.
Shannon, so this is my question to you, is if I finish my birth control pack, and that's including the last week, the placebo pills, and then I forget to get my new pack, like in 2 to 4 to 5 days, like if I'm lazy and I don't go to CVS to get my new pack, one, is that bad? 2, if I have sex in that week, like, you know, am I ovulating? Do I have a very high chance of getting pregnant? All the things.
Well, there's definitely a possibility that you could ovulate. So then ovulation with, obviously if there's exposure to sperm, pregnancy can happen. But usually what happens is the first day of your menstrual cycle, if that's day 1 and you're on placebo pills for 7 days and then you don't take anything for how many days, like 5 days after that, you're looking at 12 to 13 days where you could have an ovulatory cycle that month. And sperm can live, inside the reproductive tract. We usually say not much longer than 3 days, but there are probably some champion bionic sperm that have lived longer than that. So the best thing to do is, this is what I would recommend, is that you don't take the placebo pills at all.
I lied to you because I got nervous. I never take them because I feel like they're like 1 calorie.
I don't take them either.
And so, but when are you ovulating then, Shannon? Like, when do I ovulate?
If you're on the pill, like, what is the week technically that you're supposed to be ovulating, quote, quote?
So when you're on the birth control pill, the whole point of the birth control pill is to suppress ovulation.
Yes, so you don't do it.
So you don't ovulate. But from the time that you stop taking your active pills, and then if you were to go, if you were to say not take your placebo pills, but you're just waiting, so you're just spacing out the time, and then you don't start your new pack on time, your ovaries are starting to recruit a follicle at that point for ovulation. And for some people, on average, we say if someone has a 28-day cycle, they're going to ovulate on day 14. But the way it works is from the day you get your period, you count back 14 days, and that's when you ovulated. But when you're on the birth control pill, you're basically giving your body an opportunity to jumpstart your ovaries and recruit a follicle or an egg to be released. And so, I mean, it's risky. So what I would recommend is that you know how you'll like skip the placebo pills and then just wait a week and then restart your new pill pack. Just jump right into your new pill pack. There is absolutely no reason why you need to skip that week. You don't need to bleed. the birth control pill stabilizes the lining of the uterus and keeps it the estrogen and the progesterone balance keeps you from bleeding. And then when you stop your active pills, it disrupts that stability, and then you have a little bit of shedding. But you don't need to have that bleed in order to be healthy. The lowest dose birth control pill is probably what you're on right now, and it's very safe to just continue to take an active pill. And I would especially recommend that for people who tend to forget to take pills. And so like what I did when I was in residency, I mean, I had like a pack in my car, I had a pack in my purse, a pack in my bathroom, and I just knew I took an active pill every single day. So that I just never had a period, and it was nice.
Okay, so that's totally fine and healthy, because I thought it was an okay thing to do if you're going on vacation. You do it like maybe a month or two throughout the year.
It's perfectly healthy to do it all the time, as long as you, if you're healthy enough to be on the birth control pill at all, then you're healthy enough to skip those placebo pills and take it regularly.
What if you have like endometriosis or like fibroids? Isn't it good for me to have my period because I already have like lesser of a chance of bearing children?
Well, endometriosis is something that if you are on hormonal suppression of any kind, so it could be the birth control pill, it could be like a Depo-Provera shot, or the patch, or the NuvaRing. But if you're on a hormonal manipulation of your cycle, you're actually suppressing those endometriosis cells, and it's actually a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not giving your ovaries a chance to kind of, stimulate that tissue. So
I have two more pill questions. Sorry, we could have done an entire episode on the pill. So during the sugar pill week, just saying that we're going to continue doing the sugar pill week, are you more susceptible to getting pregnant that week?
Well, there are stories of women who say that they've gotten pregnant on the pill. If women are taking it as directed, the chances are nearly zero. I'm just going to call it. So
my friend had a child on the pill. Is like the most terrifying, beautiful thing for her. Yeah. Most terrifying news for me. Yeah, the child is stunning. Thank God she had it. It's stunning. Child.
I would say the longer you go with spacing between your packs, the higher the likelihood that you would have an ovulation. But even being on the birth control pill, it makes the endometrial lining pretty hostile to an implantation. Mm-hmm. So pregnancy is unlikely. Now, it's not zero. I know there's people who will say, oh, you're wrong, I got pregnant on the pill. If people are really honest with themselves, most of the time when I would talk to my patients who've gotten pregnant on the pill, they'll say, I am a little sporadic in the way I take it. And the birth control pill is not something you want to be sporadic about. You want to try and take it at the same time every day. And I think closing that window of placebo pill usage is wise too, if you're somebody who's extra concerned about that.
So many questions. You just brought up another one.
Can you? Okay, so I don't take mine at the same time every day because sometimes
I thought we had this argument that you kind of do, and I said that I just do it before I go to bed.
I do mine's like so different, like because sometimes I'll leave it at home, so then sometimes I'll have it at night and but normally it's within the same 3 to 5 hours.
Okay, yeah, same. Me too.
Yeah, you're fine. That's totally fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm just playing Russian
it's
roulette
more
with my vagina.
I don't take anything.
I can't believe you're not on.
Damn it, that is terrifying when you really say it out loud, Lauren.
Terrifying.
Wait, I have a question from our listener.
Okay.
It's on a completely other topic. I think we got the pill stuff down.
I guess I'll just text her about my other private concerns.
So this girl, remaining anonymous, she just got tested for herpes and was tested positive.
God.
She would like to hear from a professional. How embarrassed should she be? Is it really that big of a deal? What advice do you have? Do you, since her positive diagnosis, her ex and her have broken up and she's terrified to date again, how will she bring it up to her next partner?
This is amazing. Shannon.
Well, there's a primary breakout period. First of all, I think that when we stop and think about it, most of us have been exposed to herpes in our lives. Unless you were a virgin when you got married and you've never had sex with another person who also has never had sex with another person, there's chances that all of us have been exposed to HSV and we have antibodies to it. And some of us never even have that initial outbreak. but we might have antibodies to it. And so I would say that if she actually has had a lesion that was cultured positive for HSV, but if it was like one tiny lesion, she probably was exposed to it some time ago. And then she just had what we call a recurrence. A primary outbreak is where you'll have multiple lesions. It can be more painful. The lesions tend to kind of blend together, so it looks like larger ulcerated areas on your bottom. And so without knowing her history and how she presented, more than likely, it could be a new outbreak if she would describe it as something that was.
I'm strongly guessing it was passed on from my ex-boyfriend as I was tested for herpes in March and it was negative, and then had an outbreak in September and then tested positive.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that's what. Yeah, so most likely she's absolutely 100% correct. So what she needs to do is talk to her doctor about going on an antiviral suppressive therapy. She doesn't need to. So what we'll often do is if women are sexually active and they want to minimize their chances of having another breakout and thus transmitting it to a partner, they need to be on suppression therapy, and their doctor can help them pick out the best one for them. The full disclosure part of it is honestly, it's a tough conversation to have, but when you get into a relationship with somebody, the most important thing is once you're going to have that talk is to have them tested too. Because if they've been exposed to it and they have antibodies to it, you will not now cause them to have an outbreak. And so if they have previous exposure and they have never had it, meaning they have antibodies, but they've never had an outbreak, the chances are that their immune system has now suppressed that, and that it won't be a problem for them at all.
Shannon,
but if they're negative, they can go on suppression. Their partner can then go on suppression therapy too, and diminish their likelihood of having it transmitted to them.
So can you only get it? Can you only get herpes if you're exposed to an outbreak? Someone with an outbreak?
Well, no, not necessarily. Actually, people that are HSV positive are shedding the herpes virus 50% of the time, even though they don't technically have an outbreak. So it's just that it's same thing with oral herpes. Even though you see those people with those big chancre lesions on their lip and you think, ooh, stay away. But quite honestly, you can get those from someone that doesn't appear to have an outbreak, but their body is still shedding the virus.
Right.
Okay, very interesting.
I was going to say, Shannon, it's so heartbreaking for me to hear this listener's questions and the fact that her boyfriend broke up with her, because I have a friend who went through a similar situation, and I think the emotional part of having herpes is so much worse. Since you're in the field, is there any cure you think down the road one day?
I think it's possible that we could have a vaccine for it, much like we do for the human papillomavirus, the virus that's responsible for genital warts and cervical cancer, vulvar cancer. I think that it's likely that we could come up with a vaccine for that. Yeah, it's like chickenpox. That's a type of that's the same type of virus, and we have a vaccine for that.
All right, guys, I have to jump in for 1 second and tell you guys all about my favorite, Beachbody On Demand. It is an online fitness streaming service, and it gives you guys unlimited access to a wide variety of highly effective world-class workouts. And lately, I've been really craving quiet time and relaxation, so I've been enjoying the yoga classes. But if you guys personally are looking for something more challenging and intense, they have things like P90X, Insanity, 21 Day Fix, and T5.
Yes, I love that you can customize your workouts and that they have many levels of difficulty, and I need the easier ones because, I'm not a big workout person, but I can work out at home using my iPad or even my phone. It's great.
You definitely need to give this service a try. Right now, our listeners can get a free trial membership when you text GET IT, all one word, no spaces, to 303030. That is 303030. You will get full access to this entire platform for free, all the workouts and nutrition information for free. Just text GET IT to 303030. Now let's get back to the show. That HPV vaccine, is it a myth that you have to get it before the age of 24 or something?
I think that it would be helpful at any point. I think the idea is usually these things are regulated by the government, and the government looks at statistics and they say, what are the chances chances that somebody is going to not have ever been sexually active by the age of 24. And here in this country, the chances are really slim. So it's more that they're trying to capture people and get them vaccinated and immunized before they would have exposure to the virus.
Hey, this is really awkward, but in line with that.
Go.
Oh, I was going to say, what about like pimples? Like, what?
Yeah, I actually have a question from someone that says, is a pimple in the area normal?
Yeah.
That's what they asked.
Oh, yeah. Most, like if you have a pimple on your vulva or down there between your legs. Yeah. You know, we're really hairy people. And those hair, basically it's probably a folliculitis where you know, like if you ever shave or wax, then you get that kind of a breakout or a bump, you know, with a little pustule on it. That's very common. And some people actually are prone to acne on their backs or on their face or on their chest. And some people are prone to it on their butt. It just has to do with genetics and,
I used to have a lot of pimples on my butt, honestly.
Yeah, you used to have that.
Did.
Wow.
It's like I'd rather have them on my butt than my face.
Amen.
Right?
Absolutely. Going back to the HPV conversation, we have a question from our listener, and she says she's very excited about this segment because she lives in a very private household. Therefore, her awkward questions aren't usually answered. So she goes, 2 years ago, she went to her last gyno visit, and she asked us not to judge her. Her gyno told her that she had irregular cervical cells, which is most likely HPV, and her gyno shrugged it off and said, if it's HPV, it'll work itself out of your system and not to worry about it. So what she wants to know is, how serious is it that I go back for this purpose to see if her cells changed? And should she be telling all of her sexual partners that she has HPV?
I think that HPV is something that is so prevalent. I don't think you necessarily need to disclose that.
HPV is so stupid.
I mean, we got it on our feet.
And by the way, the shot does not work.
It's only one strand or a couple strands the shot covers, right?
That's why it's ineffective, because all my friends got the shots, all got HPV. But it also affects them in no way in their life.
Right, and really, we're trying to protect women against the more aggressive strains that would then potentially lead to a malignancy. And so HPV is the same thing that causes, like, you know, plantar's warts on your feet. It's exactly the same. It's just a different type. So I would say that sometimes when we see like these atypical cells on a pap smear, they're going to go away.
Okay.
I mean, it's something like, you know, she could follow up in a year, but most of the time that's going to return to normal. And that's why we are actually less aggressive about intervening with those like soft calls of atypical cells. And even when we see the atypia, you know, you would recommend that she comes back and get another pap smear in a year and just follow it. The chances of an atypical pap smear, like that type of a pap like you're describing, turning into a malignancy in the next 3 years is pretty slim.
Okay. So her doctor said basically the same thing, and she shouldn't worry too much.
Right. Yep. And so PAPs are not a perfect test for screening for cervical cancer. In fact, they can miss abnormal cells. And that's where I have to say that I don't agree with the new guidelines where they're telling women, you know, you don't need to go in until you're 21 and, you know, just go in every 3 years as long as they're normal because of these things. You get exposed to different partners. Our lifestyles are different. What if that pap smear was wrong 3 years ago? You know, what if the doctor just didn't get a good sample? So I think it's always good to get in and see your doctor, you know, annually, you know, every year and a half, minimum 2 years. And especially if you're somebody who's had multiple sexual partners, to get tested. It's an easy screening test to do, and it's the best defense that we have.
All right, I got to go back to the doctor.
Okay.
We got another question. She says she keeps getting yeast infection after yeast infection, and she wants to know how to prevent it and why she's getting it. And then she says she uses Cetaphil body wash daily, and I think she thinks that's good. I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about soap down there, because that's a big hot topic. Nobody knows whether to use Vagisil or not.
Yeah, well, I have some pretty strong opinions about that, I'll tell you. This has been kind of my life's work. Well, people who have been told they have chronic yeast infections, I will tell you that doctors overdiagnose yeast vaginitis about 73% of the time.
Okay.
So what I always say is if a patient goes in, if you're going into your doctor and you're complaining of an itch, I mean, unless they're doing a culture or they're looking at vaginal discharge under a microscope or they're staining it and they know 100% for sure that this is a yeast vaginitis, they need to know what they're treating, how best to treat it. And I would say that if she has recurrent yeast infections, I question, is she accurately diagnosed? Number one. Number two, if she did have a yeast infection, has she ever been effectively treated? So is this just like it kind of controls it, but it doesn't get rid of it, and then it just pops back up for her? But these body washes, they're really not much better than just using a shampoo. Shampoos that you use on your hair have a pH of about 7. Some of them might be a little bit higher. These body washes are exactly the same. They're sodium lauryl sulfate. It's shampoo for your butt. So the only feminine thing about it is really the branding, the name, the color on the bottle, and the chances of the Cetaphil being the problem for her is probably not slim. I doubt it's making it worse, and it's probably not really working to make it better either.
So if we don't use that, then what do you use? Just nothing? Just water?
I think, well, you could know. I actually think that it's good to use something because there's usually some, dead skin cells and debris and maybe some solid waste, period, blood, the discharge, that it's not a bad idea to use a soap. I usually recommend a natural soap. If you can find somebody like farmer's market type soap or walk into a store like Whole Foods or your local co-op, handmade soap is going to have a pH that's lower than these body washes a lot of the time. Like the soaps that you get, if you were going to use Ivory or Safeguard or something like that, Unilever, those are detergents. Those aren't even soap. That's a sodium lauryl sulfate detergent. But when you buy handmade natural soap, you actually are getting the nice fatty acids and the glycerin and the moisturizing properties of it. And so as long as you're rinsing off really well, I think that's great. As soon as but you're only as clean as the moment you step out of the shower. Have you ever taken a shower and then you get halfway in your day and you go, man, I showered, but I can kind of notice a little bit of a funk?
Yeah.
Or am I the only one who's ever noticed that?
I always smell good.
Of course. All right, guys, I'm going to have to pause this for a second because I'm getting really hungry. And I've been hungry since we started this podcast, and we've just been going all day, and I haven't gotten a chance to eat. So I actually keep finding myself in situations like this. So RX bars are perfect for me to keep in my purse or in the car so I can just grab a healthy snack wherever I am. RX bar is a whole food protein bar. So it's made with 100% whole ingredients. The core ingredients do all the talking. It is simply like eating 3 egg whites, 2 dates, and 6 almonds. There's no BS with this bar. And they even do that on the packaging. Just no BS, which is what I love.
I know. It's so funny. And what I love about it is it totally comes in handy like after a workout. So like every time I go boxing, you guys, this is my go-to snack. It's an RX bar because it's a great source of protein. And my personal favorite flavors are the mixed berry and the maple sea salt. It's so good.
Okay, so for 25% off your first order, visit rxbar.com/getit and enter promo code GETIT, GETIT, during checkout. We all love them. You'll love them too. Okay, back to this gyno talk.
Shannon, I have a question from one of our listeners. Moving on to the more interesting questions about the vagina. Hi, I'm on antidepressants and they don't let me have an orgasm. I'm in the mood all the time, but it's so hard to get satisfied. This is the second kind of antidepressant that I have tried and both give me the same results. Need help.
It's so true. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, it's just it's a side effect. So the best thing that she could do would be to talk to her doctor about what her options are. Something like Wellbutrin or Effexor is going to have lessen those side effects more so than a serotonin reuptake inhibitor like Lexapro or Prozac or Serafem or those types of SSRIs. But she is absolutely right. I don't know. It's really unfortunate that that's the case. The other thing that I would recommend is that she start introducing some toys into it, because sometimes what it is it's not so much the libido. It's just getting to that point where it actually feels good. And so if she's comfortable using vibrators, that will help her better, achieve orgasm sooner. And I'm all for it. So.
And then that leads to the second follow-up question I have that a lot of people ask me questions about, and that is just orgasms in general. Like, how can I achieve an orgasm? How do I know if I've had an orgasm?
I always am a little taken back by that question when people say, how do I know? Because, I mean, I know you, it's like saying, I just sneezed. How do I know I just sneezed, right? It's like this overwhelming, it's like, oh my gosh. So I would say if you're asking the question, you probably haven't.
That's what they used to tell us in like sex ed in high school.
Well, it's kind of like the best feeling in the world. It's like if it could just last. I mean, it's so much easier for men than women to achieve orgasm, first of all. And what happens is for men, I mean, they can do it in, 10 strokes and they're done. But for women, it's like it takes time. And so I think getting prepared and getting there, and that's where I think that it's good for women to understand how their bodies react to touch. And that's why I think vibrators are such a good thing for women, especially if they're questioning whether or not they've ever achieved it before. But you really, for the most part, you need clitoral stimulation in order to get to that point and to achieve an orgasm. And the question of whether or not there's a G-spot just right up inside the opening of the vagina, up towards your bladder, about a third of the way up. I think that there is some truth to that. Kegling is something that can help. And so those are the types of exercises that strengthen your pelvic floor muscles. But I would say she just needs to get really comfortable with her body, maybe practice alone, and then practice with a partner.
This other girl wants to know why she's not getting wet with her boyfriend.
Yeah, and I think she said that she's like,
she should get Astroglide.
She's really attracted to him. She said she still can't get wet, and she's wondering if it's because she's on birth control or something she's doing day to day.
Yeah, is it possible for your vagina to dry up?
well, it's like birth control effect, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because birth control minimizes the estrogen stimulation of all your tissues. It works in conjunction with progesterone.
That's why Lauren's having such amazing sex.
Jesus Christ, man. Full disclosure,
But one of the side effects is
last
that
night.
You literally just said you're not on birth control 5 minutes ago.
Oh, right.
And that's literally what she said.
Sorry, I thought you were
you just called your fucking self out for using a cock ring. Loser. Oh my God, Mom and Dad don't listen to this.
Anyway,
idiot.
don't be on birth control, everyone.
I'm getting off birth control. Fuck that.
Okay.
I'm just like,
Continue.
I'm going to let God do its thing, see what happens.
Lauren, you're so screwed.
So we have birth control effects and we have antidepressant effects.
Okay.
Yeah, birth control pills are definitely minimize the lubrication and also the cyclic nature to it. Like what happens around the time of ovulation is you get this surge in estrogen and you'll notice an increase in your vaginal discharge and also more swelling of the tissues. You tend to become a little more responsive.
When is that? What part of the pack?
It wouldn't be a pack.
Not
for
in
you.
the pack.
Not if you're on the pill.
Never. If you're on the pill, you don't ovulate. But if you're not on the birth control pill and you're just naturally cycling, as a premenopausal woman who's ovulating, around that time of ovulation, you'll notice that your discharge gets thicker, more like egg white. It's very clear, stretchy, and a little bit slimy and slippery. And those are all good things that then, reflect that your tissues are more engorged and you're more responsive sexually. It's easier for you to achieve an orgasm. And when you're on the birth control pill, it's like you're at the PMS stage of estrogen levels, like the entire month.
What in the actual fuck?
I know what.
Shannon, can I get off of it for a couple weeks and try this out and then get back on? Is that unhealthy?
You can do that. Yeah, there's no problem. You just have to use other forms of birth control and protection. But you should be using protection anyway. From other STDs. But let's say if you're in a long-term relationship and you want to test go off the pill and see what your natural cycles are and use condoms until then, just to see where the time of ovulation is and experience that. I think that's totally fine.
Okay.
Check it out.
This is like the most TMI question ever. Some of us at this table have like a solid amount of discharge and the other ones don't have barely any. Mm-hmm. Gotta know what's normal here.
Honestly, everybody's normal. Unless you're noticing, like, they'll say, like, does your discharge have an odor? Do you have itching? Do you have burning? Those types of things. But here is the honest way to tell if your discharge is normal or not. if you stick a clean finger up inside your vagina, pull it out and look at it. If it's white and creamy or clear or even just a slight yellow tinge to it, totally normal. If you pull it out and it's like dark brown, has like a greenish hue, or if it's chunky, like they say cottage cheese, but it's almost, it's a little like cottage cheese. But it's not, I mean, if you're getting cottage cheese discharge, that's a really bad yeast infection. Mm-hmm. Most people are like, it's like, what took you so long to come in? That's really bad.
Yeah, what about spotting? Because people discharge all the time and they say it ruins their underwear. And I don't think that's normal because that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Is that normal, Shannon, or no? Because I'm like, what is all this discharge that people have that I don't
Amy
have?
Schumer talks about that discharge and it made me feel so normal.
Lauren and I it felt so much better about the Amy. We were like, holla, so funny, relatable.
Discharge is just a little bit like, how some people just have drier skin than others, or different, if you're on the birth control pill, then your discharge is going to be minimal. And if you do have some, it's going to be thicker. But if you're just a normal cycling woman who is not on any kind of hormonal suppression for ovulation, you're going to notice ebbs and flows of discharge in your cycle. The first half of your cycle, it's going to get start to get heavier. It's clear. It's stretchy. Mid-cycle, right around the time of ovulation, it gets pretty thick. Like you can feel like, my gosh, did I just get my period? It can actually be that heavy, and it's not abnormal. So usually discharge doesn't stain your underwear. It should wash out, but it definitely can, give you some white, crusty, clear, amount of discharge that's visible on your underwear for sure. That's normal.
Speaking of all that stuff down there, a lot of people ask questions about can pineapple juice really make my stuff taste better? Like, is that true?
Keep it all out of the vagina.
Oh, no. Drinking pineapple juice doesn't make
make you taste better down there.
Some people will say that you are what you eat, but I can honestly say that, I mean, think about what has to happen here. It's like when you ingest like pineapple juice or apple cider vinegar, it's going into your stomach, which is like 100 times more acidic than that compound, than that juice, right? Then it's got to go through your whole metabolic cycle, get into your small bowel, your large bowel, and it's not like the pineapple juice just starts flowing out of the pores, So I'm not really, and I don't really buy into that so much, but so I thought you were saying douching with pineapple juice.
Okay, wait, Shannon,
no.
we had a porn star on a couple months ago, and she was swearing by douching. Like, she was like, everyone, I don't care what they say, you definitely have to douche.
And we said, PSA, this is coming from a porn star.
Yeah, so no douching?
Absolutely not, right?
Absolutely not. And in fact, I'm actually going to do a story on this. I think this is very profound, and nobody has ever talked about this before. Do you know who started the whole talk on vaginal odor and saying feminine odor?
Who?
The company?
No.
Lysol. You've heard of Lysol,
yeah,
right?
That makes sense. Wow, we are all controlled by marketing.
Yeah, so in the early 1900s, Lysol started this ad campaign that actually showed women with their husbands walking out the door with a suitcase. And the ad would say, she was the perfect wife. She kept a clean home and she was a wonderful cook, but she couldn't keep her mimsy clean. If only someone had told her about feminine hygiene. And then it said, next time she's going to try Lysol. So Lysol started, screwing up these women's minds, feeling like this was something that they needed to do. And then it started a whole industry, the entire industry of feminine hygiene. That's where Vagisil comes. I mean, I have this whole view on it's an industry where women have been fed a bunch of bull, believing that the vagina is to blame. I mean, if you just walk into a pharmacy, you'll see how to control vaginal odor. It's like if you go to the bathroom and you notice a little bit of odor, most people will think it's their vagina. But the vagina is not to blame the vast majority of the time. And if it is, then you need to go see somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about confidence a lot here on the I Don't Get It podcast and how much of a difference it makes when it comes to the millennial lifestyle, the way you carry yourself, the way you date. BioClarity is clinically proven to clear up acne blemishes and help maintain clear, confident, there's that word again, skin without all the harsh side effects of other treatments. 90% of clinical study patients reported clearer skin and would recommend it to friends. I am a friend to you guys, and I am recommending it. It helps minimize pore size, fight acne, reduce redness, and soothe skin. You know that it's always a complaint of mine. Plus, it's cruelty-free and vegan. So put your best face forward and go out and conquer the world. Just go to bioclarity.com. My listeners will get their first month for only $9.95 plus free shipping. That's a $20 savings. And it comes with a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. But you need to enter my code GETIT, GETIT. Go to bioclarity.com and enter the code GETIT, bioclarity.com.
So as an OBGYN, I noticed that women were coming in and complaining of BV. Do you guys know what that is?
Bacterial vaginosis.
Okay, Lauren.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
I think Lauren should probably tell you about this one experience before you go into it.
I just had
Okay.
So my
Twice.
my vagina was smelling abnormally terrible, and I was having sex with a guy, and then I was like, this is unbearable for me. I can't even imagine what it is for him. It was odd. It was terrible. And then I had sex with some other guy, and he couldn't get hard, and I'm pretty sure it's because it smelled bad. But anyways, I ended up going to the doctor 2 months later, and she was like, oh my God, if it smells like that, you have vaginitis or vaginosis. And then I took whatever the medication 5 days later. Smelled like a fucking daisy. So I'm all for just going your gyno and checking out if that smell is normal or not.
But
Yes,
there's some
absolutely.
people that get bacterial vaginosis all the time, right? Like there's some women that are really prone to it.
There's certain risk factors for it, but what I have found is that when women notice that odor, like you had a new sexual partner, what was going on? If you didn't have a sexual partner for quite some time and then you have a new sexual partner, you're exposing your body to these basic fluids like semen, number one. And what can happen is the semen actually, your vagina serves as a reservoir. The semen leaks out of your vagina, comes into contact with bacteria on the outside of your body. So like what's commonly found in our GI tract. So our butts, our anuses or perirectal areas. I don't know how else to say it. That's what it is. But the bacteria then, they start to replicate as the day goes on, and they digest these bodily fluids. But what I was able to prove was that odor is indistinguishable from the odor that forms with BV. So these women, you go into the doctor and you say, I noticed this odor. You are 61% of the time going to be overdiagnosed with BV when really it's just an external problem. And then sometimes, but it is something that if you notice that you have an occasional odor, and I'm talking you have sex on a Friday night, you wake up on Saturday, you get up to go to the bathroom, you sit down and you kind of notice just a slight off odor, like a slight fishy odor. You go downstairs, you make coffee, you have breakfast, and as the day goes on, you notice that that's worse. For some women, if that's a new sexual partner with them, they assume, oh my gosh, this guy gave me an infection. And if they go to their doctor complaining of it, they're going to be more likely to be diagnosed with BV, when really what it is just that semen is now on the outside of their bodies and it's mixing with those bacteria on the outside.
Are they not showering?
The vagina is kind of a reservoir, so that fluid just leaks out. And even if you shower, you get in the shower and you scrub up with soap and water and you rinse really well and dry off. We're never completely sanitized. So those bacteria just keep replicating. And that's why odor tends to worsen as the day goes on. So if it's knock you in the face odor, oh my gosh, this is you're describing that, this is something is not right, then you absolutely need to go see your doctor and get that checked out. But for those day-to-day odors that happen as the day goes on, working out, we have our period, so there's blood that comes into contact, and there's a lot, more hair down there, and bacteria, and those bacteria digest the blood cells and semen, and then if you've had a few babies and you leak urine when you cough, sneeze, or laugh, you've got that in the mix. And there's just that kind of funk that we get as women from time to time. The vast majority of the time, that's just an external reaction that is when bacteria combined with bodily fluids, odor forms. And so the product that I created is Lumi deodorant for underarms and private parts. And it started off as a deodorant for feminine hygiene, just that you use externally. You do not use it in the vagina. Mm-hmm. Because what we realized was that those odors that women get every day are indistinguishable from the odors that women have when they actually have a vaginal process like BV going on. So women were being overdiagnosed with it. So it allows women to discreetly manage like their odor concerns at home. And then when we had it clinically tested at Princeton Consumer Research in St. Petersburg, Florida, they were shocked at how well we did as a natural deodorant. We're aluminum free, we're baking soda free, we're fragrance oil free, we're vegan, we're Leaping Bunny cruelty free, and we're water based, so we wash out of your clothes and we don't leave a residue behind on your skin. That when they tested it on people's underarms, they said, hands down, we've tested every product. This is hands down the most effective natural deodorant that they've ever come across. And so that formula that I created as a gynecologist, I'm like, it took a gynecologist to cure, swamp ass or, this like funk that women get from time to time to also create the best natural deodorant for underarms. And so we're really creating a whole other category because it's a deodorant that can be used from head to toe. People can use it on their feet.
So is it a spray?
It's a cream. It's just a lotion, It's a cream that rubs into your skin. It is scented with essential oils, lavender and sage. And so it has a nice herby, earthy essential oil scent to it, but essential oils fade. So it's not a long-lasting fragrance that's going to like gum up in your clothes or stick to your teeth. You know how some of them are so strong. It's like you can't wash them out. Lumi, because it's water-based, it washes out of your clothing. Amazing. So it's been a bit of a myth buster for women, because there was a study that was done that showed that when women go into their gynecologist's office complaining of just a vaginal complaint, that they are 61% overdiagnosed with BV 61% of the time, and they're overdiagnosed with yeast infection 73% of the time. So a woman probably could just guess and get it right more often than her doctor. That's what this study showed. So if a woman thinks she has something going on, you can try something like because you're noticing an odor, try Lumi. And if Lumi helps, after a few days, then you're good to go.
But if you're thinking of like the selfie light.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, I can't wait to take a picture of Lumi.
It's a nice name.
Lumi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lumi is the name of selfie light.
Yeah,
there is, yes. Yeah. I think they spell it with an I, maybe, or maybe it's an E.
How do you spell Lumi?
That's Lume.
And they can find it at what website?
Wait, that's literally the same as the selfie light. It's Lumee.
No, that's
one less E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can find this deodorant where?
So we sell online at lumedeo.com. It's lumedeo.com. So lumedeo.com. And it comes in the typical Propel stick. It's a cream that comes out of these little holes that you rub onto your underarms. And then if you want to use it for private parts, you just dial up the cream, swipe the top with your fingertips and apply it.
Cool.
And then we have an airless pump, just like a cosmetic airless pump. And you dispense like a pea size or a plump pea size amount, but lasts a really long time. And we're clinically proven 48 hours of odor control, which for an aluminum-free deodorant, that's like remarkable.
There was one girl who wrote in, and her boyfriend is not comfortable having sex on her period, and she's been trying to do this for the past 2 years with him, and he's just not having it. What do you tell her?
It's just him.
You can't force him to go do that.
Question. Why did we waste a question on that? Talk to your boyfriend or break up with him. All right, I have another one, actually. So this woman is on Nexaplon. Is that how you pronounce it, Shannon?
Yeah, it's what goes in. It's the one that goes under your arm.
I've been on What is that? Nexplanon. What is it?
It's just a hormonal implant. It's an implanted device. Yeah.
Okay, she's been on it for a year, and she's been spotting pretty much the entire year. It's horrible. Should she go to the doctor about it, leave it, since it's a very common side effect of the birth control? And then she's worried something's wrong in her vagina. And she also asked, how we can feel the lumps on our breasts? Is there a version of that for your vagina?
Very good question.
For feeling lumps in our vagina. Well, there are some women who get these mucosal or fluid-filled cysts in the vagina. So if she's noticing that, then she'd want to ask her doctor about that. The other thing she can do is she's been on it for a year. It's not likely going to correct itself. She could try putting in a Mirena IUD and let the two of them work together for about 3 months and then pull the Nexplanon in her arm and then just keep the IUD in. And that's another option for her as well.
Ooh, that thing in the arm freaks me out. Oh.
It's not for everybody. I can't say it's for me.
What is the best way to remove vagina hair?
That's a very common question and one that we should definitely have answered.
Yeah, so vulvar hair. So when women talk about the vagina, that's like the potential space up inside, and on the outside is where the hair is. That's the vulva. Waxing, hands down. Yep.
Okay. Scared,
and the
but
first
I'll
time,
do it.
Yeah, if you've never had it done, trim first, take it down to like a 1/4 inch, and then go in and I would suggest go wide. So first, just do the basic bikini area, and then as you get comfortable with your waxer, because believe me, some of them are a lot better than others, then just start moving in until you get to where you have, removed as much as you want to remove. But don't do it all at once.
Okay.
I recommend, and make sure you trim first.
Final question. How much luckier are men than women as far as their bodies go?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. There's something about being a man that I think would be pretty boring. When you think about it, it's
the fact that
one
we
two.
can make humans is so fucking cool.
I know.
I don't think I want to give that up.
Whenever I think, I'm like, it's half them. How is it even half them?
Yeah.
It should be at least 75% us.
That's what I used to think when I was younger. I'm like, I was in mom, so I'm more mom than dad.
I mean, you think about, I know, and when you think about it, though, as women, I mean, we cycle like the moon, we're pretty impressive creatures. We're the center of the family. I mean, we have the capability of growing and feeding a human. I mean, it's unbelievable.
The planet Earth guy being like, and the woman is the most remarkable creature on this planet.
But here's the part I don't understand.
Being able to reproduce.
Why is it that women can't have orgasms like men? I mean, can you imagine?
It's ridiculous after all of this, after all of that complication that we have to go through.
I mean, what in the world? That's why men and women don't understand each other. I think it's the number one reason why. Because I think if it was easier for women, we would be, maybe we'd be more like men. Or if it was more difficult for men, maybe they'd be more like us. I don't know.
It's so true. That's why we don't care to go have sex with everything out there. Because it's not like it's not
as guaranteed an
for
orgasm
us as it is for them.
Isn't it interesting the way they get off is absolutely not the way that we get off? It doesn't have to have any penetration for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck the penetration.
That's all for them. It's just really rude.
Yeah. Well, I never thought that a Q&A with a gyno would make me want to not be on the pill anymore, but thank you, Shannon, for
thank you so much.
This was amazing. And
I love talking to you guys.
It's so informative.
I'm sure we're for sure going to have a part 2, right,
I'm
guys?
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. We didn't cover even a quarter of what
we have
given.
so many more questions, but obviously we want to give you the time to answer all of them.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Wow.
That was so informative. I literally want to get off birth control now.
We could have done an entire episode on the pill.
Your sex will be better.
You're so right.
You'll be easier to have an orgasm. You'll be wetter.
I think it's so true. That sucks. That sucks. All
yeah,
right.
but then you'll be more anxious because you'll be thinking you're going to get pregnant.
Well, now I know how to take a pregnancy test, and it all came full circle, you guys.
It did.
All
right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you like this and you want a part 2, well, demand it.
Tell us in the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group. I Don't Get It podcast on Facebook.
Yep. And tweet us as usual. And rate us on iTunes, and we love you so much.
Follow me on Instagram on Lauren AI because I'll be posting pictures tonight, and I'm also on the cusp of 30,000, and I really want that.
Yeah, and follow me on Instagram too, so I can catch up to Lauren at Naz Perez.
Okay. And I think I'm fine there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I Don't Get It podcast.